In this video, we will discuss what happens after you sign the contract. At this point, you should have signed the contract. Your attorney has a copy of the contract. The buyer has a copy of the contract. So what happens next? We are going to start by going through what will happen on the buyer's side, and then we'll get into what's going to happen on your side. Most of the activity is going to happen on the buyer's side. The buyer has a lot of work to do to satisfy the needs of the mortgage company. If your buyer's paying cash, they won't have as much to do. First, the buyer is going to deliver the contract to his mortgage company. Once the buyer does that, the mortgage company is going to order an appraisal and the survey. You should get a phone call to set the appointment for the appraiser. You'll need to provide access to your home for the appraiser. It's your choice if you want to be there or not. However, I recommend to be there so you can answer any questions the appraiser may have. This might even speed up the process. The appraiser will arrive at your home and be there for a good hour or more. In a lot of ways, this is going to be like a mini home inspection. The appraiser is going to take measurements and a lot of pictures of the home. He is going to check out the major structural items in the home, such as the heating unit, the water heaters, and the plumbing to make sure that they're all working. Once the appraiser is finished at your home, he will head back to his office and pull comps on the home. This is very similar to hiring your own appraiser. In fact, most appraisers get a big chunk of their business from mortgage companies. Once the appraiser is finished, he will submit a copy of the appraisal to the mortgage company, who will then send a copy to the buyer. You, the seller, won't usually get a copy of the appraisal unless it comes back too low, and we'll talk about how to handle that in the next video. In addition to the appraisal, the buyer may elect to have a home inspection conducted. The home inspector will also need access to your home for several hours. The job of the home inspector and the appraiser overlap quite a bit. The difference is that the appraiser needs to make sure that there's nothing substantial wrong with the house that could cause a large expense that would later result in the buyer not paying back the loan. The home inspector, on the other hand, is tasked with finding out every little thing that is wrong with the home. Trust me, the home inspector will point out every little thing that is wrong with the home. You will get a copy of the home inspection report 99% of the time because you'll be asked to fix some of the items. Whether or not you fix the items is up to the sales contract. If your attorney writes the contract, in most cases, you're going to have the choice to fix the items or cancel the contract. In some instances, you may be responsible for repairs up to a certain dollar amount. In my last home sale, I had to replace a ceiling fan remote, and that was it. The buyer's not worried about the other smaller items that were listed on the report, like the worn insulation on the air conditioner. We will get more into how you should address these items in the next video, though. The mortgage company is also going to order a survey of the property. They want to make sure that the structures on the property are not impeding anyone else's land, and the surveyor does not need access to your home, just the outside areas. Because the surveyors do not need access to the inside of your home, they will often not make appointments. You will know that they've been there when you come home and see flags in the ground and paint on the grass. Leave the flags there until closing because that will tell the buyer where the boundaries are for his new home. Independent of your property, the buyer will also have to provide a lot of information to the mortgage company. These items include financial details of his life, showing the mortgage company that he has the funds for the down payment and can pay the mortgage off with monthly payments. Even if someone is pre-approved or pre-qualified for a loan, there still could be some stumbling blocks at this point. Why? It's at this point where the buyer provides documented details about his finances. For example, a buyer may tell the mortgage company that his income is $80,000 a year to get pre-approved for the loan. The mortgage company later finds out that the buyer's income is primarily from commissions on a job he just started. The mortgage company won't be excited about this, and it may cause the financing to fall through. On your side, there is not going to be nearly that amount of activity. You will be doing a whole lot of waiting. You will set the appointments for the appraiser and the home inspector, then you will wait. You will likely need to provide access to your home to the buyer for a few times, then you will wait. You may need to sign a contract amendment or two that extends the closing date because the buyer's team is not ready yet. Then you'll wait. Finally, you'll need to show up at closing day with your driver's license and sign the paperwork. Everything else will be taken care of for you by the real estate attorney, the title company, and the mortgage company. The day before or the day of closing, the buyer will typically do a final walkthrough to ensure that everything in the home is as expected and it's still in the same condition it was when he made the offer. If at all possible, I recommend moving out by this point, unless you've made other arrangements with the buyer. Yes, you will need to be completely moved out once you sign the papers. There's not a whole lot that you can do to affect the process and make it go faster. However, I do recommend following up with the real estate attorney, the title company, and the buyer or their agent once a week to ensure that everything is on track. And then you're going to wait some more. Before we end this training, I want to talk about the waiting. If you're anything like me, when you wait, you worry. You ask yourself, what if the deal's not going to go through? What if the buyer can't get financing? What if the buyer backs out? What if something happens to the home before we close? These concerns are normal. Feel free to come over to the Facebook group and share your concerns with us so we can help you through it. The odds are in your favor that the closing will happen, so try to keep positive about it.